Oh, good. We're recording. Hi. This is always fun when we start, and I'm not sure we're started. I still don't even see the red button. Janet, are you sure you hit the record button? I can't
Yeah,
tell.
it's recording.
Okay. Well, that's
Yep.
fantastic. Well, welcome to another fun and exciting episode of Business Growth Time, good people. I can assure you it's going to be fun and exciting after the green room experience with Mr. Shane Barker. So I'm going to have Janet introduce him in just a minute. But before we get to that, I got to say hello to my longtime friend, old pal, soon to be seen at the high school reunion. I almost said the number, Janet E. Johnson.
Don't say it out loud.
Where today the E is going to stand for Edina, because it's really close to where we're going to be.
Yeah, the cake eaters, you had to bring them up,
I
huh?
had to bring up the cake eaters. Why would I not bring up the cake eaters?
Yeah, Edina. I like it though. I like it. That's pretty good because now we're coming into our big reunion year, and it's interesting. Very interesting. And this is high school, so those of you that don't know, Jerry and I went to high school together many moons ago, so that's very interesting.
So yes, indeed. Janet, talk to us about Shane. What are we going to cover today? What are these good folks going to learn? I can't even wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Shane's, well, he just told us he's from California, which is interesting. Terry's in Detroit, I'm in Minnesota, so we're kind of from all over.
3 different time zones.
He's a digital marketing consultant who specializes in influencer marketing, product launches, sales funnels, targeted traffic, and website conversions. He has consulted with Fortune 500 companies, influencers with digital products, and a number of A-list celebrities. And Shane was telling us more about his background before, but we'll let him introduce himself. So welcome, Shane.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm excited. So you guys went to high school together. I feel like not to switch gears here, but you guys, that's awesome. And you guys still talk. Oh,
We do. We don't talk to each other though. We only talk to people like yourself.
We only talk on the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's good because you don't want to like ruin the relationship or anything. So I get it.
Fun fact is Terry and I and 2 others were the first people on Facebook from high school. So
really?
Yeah, not like the first people ever because
for our high school, yep.
How big was your high school? Not we need to go into heavy detail here, but like 100 people, 200.
650 was our graduating class.
Okay, so you guys in the top 4. So you guys are okay. You guys are like the top 1-2% to be on Facebook first. Wow.
Yeah, we're old heads. Right? You know, it's kind of fun to see that
We knew we were the techies.
Doing this social media thing, right? Because we really hadn't stayed in contact, but found each other through Facebook. And one day I was like, I want to do a podcast, and I'd been a guest on hers a couple of times prior, and she's like, perfect timing. My co-host wants to quit doing a podcast, so I'm like, let's go. It'll be fun.
There we go. When the moons align. When the moons align.
Yeah.
So cool. I'll give you guys a little fun fact. So as we talked a little bit when we were in the green room chatting, I actually am an instructor at UCLA, and so I do a personal branding and how to be an influencer course, and we were kind of touching on that a little bit on my background and how I was able to get a job at UCLA. I mean, I don't have my master's or anything, but they reached out to me in regards to putting some curriculum together and working with one of my friends, Amanda, over there, and putting the curriculum together for influencer marketing. So I know we're going to probably touch on that a little bit today and how it's just kind of an interesting space and how it's constantly evolving and, how can you put it in your marketing tool belt?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, influencer marketing has become a big word out there. And there's a lot of positivity and there's a lot of negativity around it. So can you touch on that, like some of the positives and some of the negatives that you've seen?
Yeah, I think really at the end of the day, everything's positive. Anything's negative, those guys can all go to hell. No, I'm just kidding. That's just the vibe I'm getting from the podcast right now. So just
no, you're good.
Oh no,
You're good.
This is the thing. I know. I talked to Terry a little bit and you guys earlier, and I thought, okay, we're going to have some fun with this thing. So, I mean, really, there's obviously the positive stuff. There's great results and things happen. I mean, influencer marketing is no different than PPC or SEO or any type of thing that you're going to use, right? I mean, SEO doesn't work if you go after the wrong keywords. PPC doesn't work if you don't have the right audience or target audience. So, influencer marketing is no different. So influencer marketing back in the day was, hey, we went ahead and threw up one campaign and Johnny grabs a bottle of creatine and he's half naked and he says, I drink creatine in the morning. Everybody goes, God, I want to be like Johnny when I get older because he has a private jet, a beautiful girlfriend, and it must be because of the creatine, right? So then everybody goes and buys a creatine and nothing happens. They just get bloated or something because they don't know how to use it. So, right, that's old school influencer marketing. And The problem is that influencer marketing, everybody assumes that you just go and you post one picture with an influencer and then you go and you hire somebody to count your cash, right? That's not the deal. It's a strategy. You have to put time into it. No different you put time into your SEO. Like you can go after 15 keywords and there can only be 3 of them that actually index well. And now you have to go over those keywords. It's the same thing with influencer marketing. Everybody's different. Every influencer is different, has a different audience. They have different type of messaging and they're on different platforms. So it's not, you can't ever say, hey, I tried Jennifer on Instagram. We did one campaign and influencer marketing doesn't work. Because no, it just didn't work with Jennifer on that platform with that type of an audience, right? So that's where I think people get kind of a little confused. And you have like the Fry Festival, which was a big thing where everybody's like, oh my God, we got to be really careful. And this is what happens when influencer marketing, when people are just going crazy and posting stuff. But what's crazy about the Fry Festival is that it worked. Right? I mean, people bought tickets. And so really the core of it is saying, hey, influencer marketing works. The problem with it was logistics. The person that was putting it on, they didn't realize what they had to do. They're going and trying to pick up islands that drug dealers used to have. I mean, you're right. There's some stuff going on there that they just didn't know what they were doing in regards to throwing the event. But right. The way that they marketed it absolutely worked because we have people paying $15,000 tickets. Now, it sucks that they went out there and there wasn't like caviar and go-go dancers and stuff like they had planned on. None of the kids died, so I think we should be happy about that. They all made it back on their private jets and everything, so that's awesome. Nobody was, no casualties. But the core of it is that it does work, and if you do it the right way, once again, finding the right influencers, that's one of the big things is that brands are always looking at, and they've always done this, is they look at a follower count, right? And they go, this is Jennifer Smith, she has 1 million followers. She has to be able to crush this because she has 1 million followers. The problem with that is that you're just looking at follower count, and that's where we run into this like fake followers and, oh my God, how do we know if an influencer has fake followers? Well, this is the deal. The reason why they're starting to get more fake followers is because after 1 year, they got their follower count to 20,000. And as a brand, I go, hey, 20,000, I'll give you $1,000 to do this campaign. But if you get to 50,000, I'll give you 5,000. And if you get to 1 million, I got 15 grand waiting for you. And guess what happens? I go, how do I get to 1 million? How do I get to the next level of being paid? Because I'm being paid out on my followership, right? So I'm less intrigued to stick with my current followers and for you to look at engagement and how we put campaigns together and really look at that process. You're looking at follower count. So I myself or an influencer is going to go, what do I need to do to get that next level to accelerate that? I can do some of these pods and other things, techniques, but it's not going to grow it as fast as I need to get that next level. So that's really the issue of what we talk about influencer marketing is if brands would quit chasing numbers and start really looking at the individual's profile and engagement rate, kind of content they put out, what sponsorships they've done in the past, really do your research. That's where the value comes in. Most people don't do that, and that's where we have a huge disconnect.
So how do you determine whether or not someone should, and do you work more on the influencer side? Before I ask the second question, do you work more on the influencer side or more on the brand side, and you're pairing them with influencers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like Switzerland. I'm the guy in the middle, right? And so I do work with brands. So I have 2 different ways that I work with individuals, brands and influencers. So with the brands, I actually do workshops. So I just did one in San Francisco. We had Amazon that was there. We had Purple.com. We had some really big companies that were there. And that was a full day training. We rented out the hotel and all the fun food and all that kind of fun stuff. It was about 32 companies that were in the house. And we do I do a full 8-hour thing of presenting and have platforms and brands come on and panels. And it's a really intensive type training type thing workshop. And so
anybody die at that?
No, well, we did have one guy that ended up missing, but it was because his credit card didn't go through. So I don't know what happened. It's so crazy when that happens. But a black van pulled up and it was so weird. I was like, hey, see you later, Don. Next time, don't use that credit card, buddy. Okay. Lesson learned. And then we actually did the footage of it, and then we sent it out to the other people in case their credit cards didn't go through. But anyways, that's a side note. Example. Yeah, this is being recorded. Okay, good. So we, nobody died there that we know. But so we have that. So the curriculum, and they go, and we hand out these. You can't see them, obviously, it's a podcast, but we have these nice little books that we put together so they can take notes. And so that's the brand side of things, because what we've realized is that brands really don't know how to work with influencers because they assume that it's all influencers are the same. So I negotiate the same with every influencer, and that's not the deal. Everybody runs their business differently. So we have that. Once again, I also meet with brands. Like I have a thing with Anheuser-Busch and some other big companies where I go in and say, let me review your influencer campaigns, and I'll tell you guys, if you're going after the right influencers, things to look at. I mean, do you even know who's moving the needle, ROI from an ROI perspective? So I really go into a deep dive into that. And then on the other side of it, obviously I teach at UCLA, right? So I'm you know, the reason why I'm sure this is in LA is because most of the students that can't make it as actors that are, you know, waiting tables, now they can tell their parents they have a second opportunity because they're going to be an influencer. So it gets them another few years in LA, right, to, you know, keep the dream alive. And so I teach that class, but I also have a course that's going to be coming out in the next few months on how to be an influencer. And really it's less about like, you know, how to like, you know, get a pink poodle and do private jets and stuff like that, but more of like, how do you build your brand? I mean, that's the class I teach at UCLA. It's personal branding. The thing is influencers, what they don't realize is like, if you want to be serious about this is your business. Like you have to treat it like a business. You have to get a media kit. You have to think about branding. You have to think about, you know, are you using a Gmail account instead of your own, you know, custom email? And there's some things you have to look at, like, how do I do this? And the issue is most influencers have, if they have a great following or at least an engaged following, they're not marketers. Right? Jennifer, the yoga instructor, she's not a marketer. She's just been putting out content. People are following her. And now she's like, what do I do? How do I make money at doing this? Right? Like, how do I get brands? And so a lot of these, you know, until they get to a certain number, then brands will start reaching out. But if you have 5,000 followers, you should be reaching out to a brand. You have your branding all together. You have your packages. You have your media kit. Hey, I'm not crushing it. I don't have 1 million people coming to my website. I don't have this. But what I do have is a heavily engaged audience. Whenever I post something, I'm getting at least 50, 60 comments, even though I've got a smaller audience, but yet it's an engaged audience, right? So it's like this hypersensitive, like if I'm a yoga instructor and I'm working with Jennifer, she has 5,000 followers, I could really sell some products through her, right? Or I could, as long as it's a long-term relationship, then her posting one time isn't going to move the needle most of the time. And you have to figure out, what are your KPIs? What are your goals in this? And so that's where a lot of people miss that boat, is they partner with an influencer, but there's no talk of KPIs or like, what are we trying to do here? It's like, all right, let's post a picture. I think the content will be good. Yeah, me too. Let's do it. Let's kind of pray to the, you know, to the influencer gods and kind of see what happens. And then they're like, God, that didn't work. And do you know why it didn't work? No, what were we going after? Not really sure. Like Captain Clueless. It's like, you know, it's like the analogy, and I usually don't use this analogy, but I think with the personalities of you both, you guys will enjoy this, and with your audience, it's like two 15-year-old kids having a baby. Okay, you can do that. Can happen, right? I'm saying the physics is there and it has happened, but you probably shouldn't at 15, right? That's the way I look at influencer marketing. It's like a brand and influencers come along, and of course, got my little fingers thing. They're not going to touch because it's a podcast, so you won't know what I'm doing. But the idea is that they have a kid. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. Right? Let's go ahead and maybe finish school and finish a few things and, you know, get a good job, whatever that is, before we start having kids together. It's the same thing, but most of these brands, they jump in together not knowing like what they're doing. And that's where I'm working on the education side of it, of like, hey, let me educate you a little bit, because you can go and waste 10, 15, 20, 30, 50,000 on a campaign because you have no idea what's going on. You've read 2 blog posts. You feel like you know what's going on. The influencer's like, hey, I crush it every time. You haven't asked for any reporting, any past campaigns they've done. You don't have a brief set up. You don't have an agreement set up. Like, what is all this stuff? Like, so it's this thing of like, hey, you got to be prepared for this. Like, there's a better way of, I'm not guaranteeing that every influencer campaign is going to be successful, but there's these 5, 10 things that if you do, you have a higher likelihood of having success because you're on the same page with the influencer or the brand.
Interesting.
So that alignment becomes super key then, right?
Yeah.
Super key. But that's the problem, is most brands think, what I am going to do is I'm going to send out 1,000 emails. I'm going to offer everybody a free t-shirt. And then I'm just going to pray that they're going to post something about this free t-shirt on their Instagram. And then we're going to see how much money is brought in or something like that. It's like,
I get that all the time now because I've hit almost 6,000. And once I kind of got to that point, all of a sudden I get, like, I got a free pair of leggings, you know, or workout pants. Like,
me too. It was so weird. They didn't even know.
Yeah, I'm like, but okay, if you guys want to give me workout pants, all right, you know, but it's just strange people coming to me, but they must have even looked at like my feed, because I don't show myself in workout pants in my feed. You know?
But that's what I'm saying is, you talk about a huge, of course you're going to say yes to them, right? Of course, yes, send them on down. But do they say, hey, you know, for this, like if you really like them, would you be willing to post something, or how can we work together? It's not that way. Like they send some stuff out and they go, well, let's just pray something happens because I'm not sure, you know, and they look at it like, oh, I'm only shipping this out and the product's usually worth $50. It only costs us $12, only $7 to ship. So we're only losing $20. When it came from
China, I knew it wasn't worth a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing drop ship. But that's the thing is like, but why you should be talking about a deeper relationship and looking at your content. You're clearly saying you're not going to see me wearing leggings probably in the last 5 years anywhere on my post. And I'm coming to you and saying, here's some free leggings. How would you like them? And you're like, I mean, I'll wear them on a Sunday, but you're not going to see me like, doing yoga and taking pictures. Like
I have leggings on right now, but you only see me from here outside.
Yeah. And are you even wearing the leggings? Are you wearing the leggings?
Yeah, no, not those.
That's what I thought. See? No endorsements. None.
Exactly.
Jen, it's ice cold.
I don't even remember the name brand of it. I hate to say, I don't even remember the name of the shop.
That's the problem is let me ship out free product and see. There's no plan to that. Like we can all ship out free product and just pray that something happens. What I should have done and said, hey, this is our product. This is what we're coming out with. Hey, could we maybe talk about maybe a relationship where we send you free product if you wear leggings a lot? Or what I should have done is looked at your profile and said, there's not one time where she shows anything wearing leggings or pants. It's all, head and above. So why would I even want to pitch you? Unless you're working out all the time and I'm like, oh, this is maybe a fit because we have tops as well. Like, why are you doing that?
Sure.
It's because they don't know what they're doing. They're just sending this stuff out. They have either it's the brand doesn't know what they're doing, or they have some agent that says, listen, we're going to crush this thing. We're going to send out 10,000 free units and you guys are going to see some sales. And then they send out 10,000 free units and they go, well, what did you tell the influencers? Like, I don't know. We just shipped it out. Like, I'm not sure. We didn't really talk to them. Like, why would we do that? That's crazy.
We didn't tell them. We didn't give them any instruction. We didn't coordinate anything. There was no plan.
They actually did have an affiliate piece on the back end. So if I went and posted it, but I never, to be honest, I saw they were from China and I'm like, they're not really $60 leggings in my mind.
Right.
So that's I wasn't real impressed. They actually were comfortable, but bottom line is, I have an affiliate piece, but I'm like, my friends, I wouldn't refer them to these leggings for $60, so.
And that's the conversation that should have been had is like, hey, Janet, can we jump on a 15-minute conversation? I would have known instantly that you said, hey, we have this affiliate thing. You can make about $30. Was that something you'd be interested in? Was this something you'd maybe be willing to promote if we sent you a few of them and you liked them? Then I have somewhat of a commitment. Now, it's not a guarantee, but at least I know we're on the same page of what I'm looking for by sending you some free units. And you would go, hey, listen, Chan, I'll be honest. Like, I don't do any affiliate stuff. I want my audience to be authentic. I'm not going to try to, convince my grandma to go buy these leggings. Then great, it's not a good fit. And how does that take 5 minutes of a conversation? But it's this, let me just I know influencers that have 10, 15, 20 boxes of stuff that they don't even open. They haven't had time to open it because of course they're going to say, yes, send me some stuff. That's awesome. But there's no follow-up. There's no oh, hey, what'd you think of the leggings? That's okay. It's like, but what is the plan with this whole thing other than just sending out free product?
Exactly.
So if they would have sent you cold shoulder tops, you would have been all in.
People should be sending me cold shoulder, off shoulder tops. You're exactly right. Like, I'm known for that. So I should be getting those free all day.
Note to self. When's your birthday, Janet? Yeah. That's what it comes down to. But see, that's what you should do is they have this software and they pull these lists. And this is the biggest thing for me is like, do an eyeball test. Go look at these influencers. If I'm going to pitch, you shouldn't pitch 1,000 influencers. It should be very tailored to go look at their profile. They're putting out there what they do, what they wear, where they hang out, everything. They're giving you all the intel. And then you look at it and say, wow, this is somebody that I think could move the needle. If they've never done an affiliate program, why are you going to ask them to do an affiliate program? Like, do you think you're going to be that one affiliate program unless you sit belly to belly and have that conversation of, people in your position that have never done an affiliate program, we'll show you how to do it and how to be successful. Would you be interested in making an extra, $50, $100 every time you posted something? Yes, Shane, I would. Okay, great. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to send you out some product. I'll show you some different angles, how you can put some stuff together. Foster that relationship. It's not just send product and pray. Like I don't care how much you pray, because in the beginning I prayed a lot about influencer marketing and it never worked, folks. I can tell you hands down, the influencer gods aren't there and they're not listening at all. Zero.
Oh,
so what you need to do is have a strategy behind it.
I agree. Now, one question I've had come up in the beginning is you were talking about the follower count. And I know a lot of people look at that, but as we know, the follower count can be fake and, and that kind of thing. So, a lot of people are looking at engagement, but now with the talks of Instagram pulling the likes away from public knowledge, what's your thoughts there?
Well, my thoughts there is first of all, if you are an influencer and you're only on Instagram or you're only on YouTube, be scared because you're always going to complain and there's always going to be problems with the algorithm. Oh, they changed this, they changed that. Newsflash, they're always going to change stuff. It's like the people I see on the news that every year they get flooded. We've been flooded for 15 years in a row. Move. You should move. God is giving you a message, folks. Like, you shouldn't be there. Instagram, YouTube, they're always going to change your algorithm. So what you need to do is if you're making money now, build a website. use social media as a place to push to your money pages, and that's your website. So Instagram's constantly going to be changing stuff, right? Their algorithms taking away likes. Instagram's thing is they want to monetize, right? They know that influencer marketing is happening. I spent, when I did my first campaign probably 6 years ago, I spent probably $300,000 or $400,000 in a few months, all on Instagram, but not through, they didn't even have an ad platform. Like literally I was paying people on PayPal and using these things called Excel spreadsheets. So anybody that's a little younger, they have no idea what those are. I'll explain that maybe in another episode. We could do something about Excel spreadsheets and how they're extinct, payphones and faxes and stuff. But so I would use this stuff, and what I would do is I would have to look at profiles. I had no software, and I would have to kind of figure out what I thought and what I thought the engagement rate was. But that's an eyeball test that you have to do. Software is awesome for pulling those influencers, but you have to look at their profiles. So Instagram taking that away, they're always going to do this and do that, because if they take that away, now you're like, God, is there still engagement? You can still look at the profile though. You can still look and see how many comments and what kind of things. They'll probably, with their API is not bad. I mean, it's not like Snapchat that you see nothing. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they're still going to let you have that. But really what they're doing, the same thing that Facebook did. Facebook used to have this crazy edge rank. The algorithm was open. You're getting tons of engagement. Grandma sees it. Auntie Lulu sees it. Everybody sees your content, loves your content. And then all of a sudden it got tightened up, right? And we're like, hey, I don't know if anybody's seeing my stuff or what's going on. And I feel like the algorithm's changing. What they said, if you want to boost this post, only $10, you just click this little button and we'll go ahead and do it. So now they're looking at, 1 billion posts in a day. If we can get 2% of those people to click $10, they're monetizing. The same thing's going to happen with Instagram. They got to figure out how they can affect some of the data, where it's kind of like you have to work with the influencers or through their ad platform, then this will be opened up and you'll have all the analytics and everything's beautiful. So that's going to constantly happen. So if you are an Instagram person and you're making great money right now, save your money, folks. Save your money, because things are constantly going to change. There's always going to be a roller coaster. And if you're not sending them to some place, something you own, which would be a website, domain name, hosting account, email list, these kind of things, you're going to be along for a ride. But save your cash, folks. I'd put that money away.
Kind of like Vine. If you didn't have more than just Vine, bye-bye.
Yeah. With anything. You can't, if you put all your eggs in one basket, that's scary, because there's one morning you could wake up and it's all gone. Instagram could ban you for not wearing leggings that you were sent for free, folks. That can happen. I'm not saying it has happened. I'm just saying you have to be very careful.
Total anarchy. Yeah. So you just listed off a list of assets that an influencer should have: website, email list, a couple others. Can you rank order those? Because I look at, in my world, I'm a micro influencer here in the Detroit area. I've got a boatload of LinkedIn connections and followers, but my Instagram game is weak. I look like this. I don't take good photographs. It's not my platform. I try. It doesn't work. But I'm curious about some of the other assets that someone could have to be construed an influencer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is influencer, people think influencer, they think like, oh, it must be Instagram or it must be, Snapchat or something. That's the thing is an influencer literally can be somebody with a blog. It can be a reporter. It can be somebody that does something on YouTube. They unbox stuff. Like everybody has the potential of being an influencer. So if you are, let's get on other platforms, that's great. And you want to build out other platforms. And like you said, Terry, hey, I'm just not good at Instagram. Then don't do Instagram. Like when I talk with clients and they're like, yeah, but I really need to be on Instagram. Well, do you enjoy Instagram? I have no idea what I'm doing. I hate taking pictures of myself. I have the oldest camera ever. Well, guess what? Probably don't do Instagram then. Like there's no reason to force that, right? Because you're going to fail. You know what you like to do. And so if your professional network's stronger, then great. That's where you want to spend your time. Then you build out your blog. You write all kinds of great stuff. You have to figure out who is your perfect client, right? So let's say it's consulting for whatever, business to business. Now what you do is on your blog, you're answering questions that people would naturally have when you on your calls of saying, hey, my big thing with this is how do I generate more leads? All right, how do you generate more leads as a B2B business marketer, whatever that is? You build that out, you put that out, and then you put it on LinkedIn, and then everybody on LinkedIn shares it, and there we go. Now you're an influencer on LinkedIn, and you're giving the answers to these questions that finally people are going to come to you and say, hey, you've written all kinds of stuff about lead generation. You obviously are a thought leader and influencer in the space. Like I was going to go do it myself. I've read your blog, but it's still a little, it's just time consuming and I just don't have the time, but I have the cash. Would you be willing to do it? Or would you be able to consult me or will you be able to coach me? Absolutely. Right. So thought leadership is you're an influencer. If you're writing content and people come into your blog, then so right, so that's influence. And so people have to realize it's not just the Instagram influencer person. It's anybody can have influence. If you have an audience, and the social media doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be billions of people. I mean, I know people that, you can sell courses at, $100 a pop. If you get 30, 40, 50, you get 100 people on there, that's 10 grand a month. That's 100 people. At $100 a month, that's not a lot to sell. Like, you don't need crazy audiences. You don't, and people think that. It's like if you niche down, you figure out exactly what you want to go after, like who your perfect audience is, your perfect client, then you have to figure out how you're going to monetize that. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that. Influencer marketing is only one of those, right? It's only one of those things. You have speaking events, you have coaching stuff you can do a Slack group that's a paid for, Facebook groups. There's tons of things you can do to build out these communities that you have influence over, that you own. Well, that's you own. Facebook you don't own, but on stuff that you're in charge of, and that, this stuff's all supposed to filter into your website that you own, as long as you pay your, $8 hosting and your $10 a month or a year in domain charges, and you're building that up. And so that's what I do at UCLA is like, if you come to me and you just want to be an Instagram star, just pray that happens. And it might be short, but you're not building out your business. You're not building out this foundation of, if this goes down, it's just one pillar in my 12 pillars. I'm not worried about it. Right? Mm-hmm. Because I have a strong foundation here. And so that's where people get a little nervous. You have to diversify. If it's stocks, whether it's marketing, whether it's any of that stuff, you have to have that strong foundation. And that's the key.
Awesome. What's the hashtag behind your head?
This is my, my wife actually got this for me. And it was ironic that she actually #boss. Nice. And the funny part about that is because I did see yours, Janet. So the funny part is even though I am a boss, I don't think of myself like as a boss. Like, I was kind of even tempted not to put it up there because I don't want to make it seem like, I'm a boss. Just so you know, I'm a boss. Like, I'm in charge all day long. Like, I'm kind of a little kind of passive, except I'm Irish, so I can get aggressive too. But like, for the most part, I'm passive. And so anyways, I was kind of one of those things. I was like, do you have like # like cool boss or something like that? Like, instead of like boss, like kind of want to like dumb it down a little bit. But no, my wife says you put it there.
I had a wine mug thing. I think it broke, but # girl boss is what that is.
That's, guy boss or.
Yeah, exactly. Something. But well, we are our own bosses, I guess,
That is, that's it. That is it.
It's about where my bossiness extends to, right? But basically the end of my nose. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Trying to think of any more questions. Now, okay, so I did have questions because I work with some jewelry companies. They always want to do this influencer marketing stuff. And then they don't want to spend the money and they just want to do product trade, and that just it doesn't work. But bottom line is they always are asking. I tell them it's really not my niche, not my area, but bottom line is we've looked at softwares. And my question is, are there softwares, and what would you recommend if you recommend any of the softwares that are on?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different platforms out there. This is the thing, is like the way I look at this because influencer marketing is just blowing up. You have every new agency every day, a new platform every day. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is what's going to doing either the workshops, or I have a 3-month workshop thing that I do with brands where it doesn't have to be in-house, right, or at a hotel or anything. But because things are constantly changing. So I looked at this thing as like, hey, I'm going to supply this, the gold rush, the people who made the money in the gold rush weren't necessarily people looking for gold, it's people doing the supplies, right? So what I'm looking at this is I could go and be an agency. I was one of the original people in the space, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at just educating people. So when it comes to platforms, there's a lot of different platforms. There's platforms where influencers can go and instantly have brands on there, and they can go and pitch and say, hey, I'm an influencer and I want to want to jump on this. But what you really want to do, like we use Grin, which is called GRIN.co, and that's where you can do a full managed campaign on there. There's NeoReach has got some really cool stuff where talks about like data and stuff like that. Influence.co is one where you can go on and find influencers in a certain area, and you can niche down and find those individuals. There's thousands of them. I actually have a thing. Maybe I'll send you guys a link. It's like what it is the tools. I have it on my website, tools, and we have like agencies, and they can do a search. And I can't even keep up with it. Like every day there's a new one that pops up. And so, which is interesting. The only thing I care about is, I don't care if there's a million of them. I want to make sure they're doing it the right way. And that's the problem, is that people aren't doing it the right way. Like you talk about the jewelers, like you can do jewelry and you give out free product, but you have to realize it's going to take a lot of effort, because you have to, once again, what are you negotiating for your free diamond ring that costs $500 or whatever the number is, right? Like, what do you, and that's putting that together and then talking with them and developing out a longer term relationship. Because just sending them one thing, sending out one picture or doing one post or one Instagram story or one video, that's not going to have any traction. Like, the people want to start, in the beginning it would. 5-6 years ago it did. Now it's like, people are like, well, are you just, did you just get that diamond ring for free? Or you really like that company? You should mention them over the next few months and just kind of like build that strategy. Like, what is the goal of this? Hey, I want to sell 10 rings. Okay, well, it's going to be a 3-month campaign. I'll talk about Instagram stories 4 times. We're going to do a little thing where, I'm going to be talking and people are going to see my ring. People are going to realize that it came from you guys. So it's like, what are you doing to like put the campaign together? It's not a one-time send them. That's another thing too, is if you're a jeweler or anybody, you want to go send somebody, this is probably a better example, is a shirt. So I want to send somebody a $15 t-shirt to an influencer and you're like, God, they're going to be super excited. They're getting a $15 t-shirt and you're going to ask them, hey, will you do a video about it? And it's like, it costs me $300 to get my video guy here. It's going to take me $200 to edit it. It's going to, like, for a $15 t-shirt, like, do you really think that this influencer has 1 million followers and it's heavily engaged audience is going to take your $15 t-shirt and do a all-day story about how cool your $15 t-shirt is? Probably not. Exactly. Probably not going to happen. So, but that's where that conversation happens. But you can also find somebody that has a good following and says, hey, I love your products. I know exactly who you guys are. And I would be willing to do it if we did, you guys send me $100 worth of product. And this is what I'm willing to do for it. I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do this. Great. That makes sense for me to send you free product. We do this, get a little agreement together. In the brief, you put what hashtags we're going to use. You're going to approve the content. Off to the races.
So I can use what you just said to go get a free paddleboard. Is that what I'm hearing?
You can get paddleboard. I'm telling you, that's one of the things that I'm in my course that I'm creating.
That's great.
Anything. You can get free anything because what
I'm not paying for any cold shoulders ever again.
You really don't have to. If you do, and this is why I teach the students at UCLA, if you put together a great package and you explain why they need to give you something, most of the companies right now don't know what they're doing. Like, I know people that have gone to, like, I shouldn't even say the brands because then they're going to be like, they're going to listen. They're going to be like, shut it down. We can't give anybody any more free stuff, Shane. They found out. But there's like big, huge companies. I could pitch any company right now and say, hey, why don't you guys give me a free this or free that? And this is what I'm going to do for you guys. And I have a background in this. I teach at UCLA and I'm a really cool cat. And every once in a while, some people like my Instagram pictures and I got a good red beard. And once again, people love me and they're like, God, that guy talks really fast. Like, God, he must know what he's talking about. Let's send him a free laptop, right? I mean, for God's sakes, teach at UCLA. I mean, Jesus. So then guess what happens? I get a free laptop and then I don't do anything. Got him. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I do tell them of like, hey, like, but you can get free anything these days. And I'm not saying just to go get free stuff. Yeah. But I put together a campaign and say, for this is what I'm willing to do. Or if you guys are jumping in this space, I can help educate you. But I can get free anything, but it's because I have a brand and I built this out. I have a media kit and I explain the value of what I'm going to be bringing to the table. That's where what I teach at UCLA is, once again, it's not about just waiting for a brand to knock on your door because it's going to be lonely, right? What you need to do is you need to go tell the brand, explain to the brand why you are the person to work with. And that's what most influencers can't do, right? And you start off small. Your first ones you're going to do is probably going to be free campaigns. It's going to be for a local Mexican restaurant. You're going to, do a small little campaign for them and then you move up. You're not going to have Nike knock on your door right away. Like, you're building this thing up, right? Like in the beginning, like when I started doing consulting, I consulted for some really big companies and you know how much they paid me? Nothing.
Butkus. Mm-hmm. Right?
Because I was starting off, but guess what I could say? I could say, hey, I've done consulting for Google because guess what? I did. No, I didn't tell them I didn't get paid anything because I didn't need to tell them that, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's foundational. Like, how do you build that up? And so influencer marketing is no different. You want to be an influencer, you can do it, but just know that you're not going to have Nike knock on your door. You're not going to get a free jet. You're not going to get you can get a pink poodle. You could probably get a pink poodle and color it. It's probably pretty cheap compared to the jet and the Nike thing. But, there's levels to this thing and you just got to build it up. And how serious are you about doing it? Is it just kind of a side weekend thing? Hey, just post some pictures. Or is it like, hey, I really want to brand myself as the individual. And once again, how do I diversify my revenue, right? How do I, do affiliate stuff, whatever that is, or get free hotels, or how I travel on, $10 because I'm able to get free stuff. Whatever this is, figure out your area, your niche, and then go after it.
That's cool.
Marketing director, VP, CMO, who you target? Who do you go after?
What do you mean, for my programs?
Good. Answer that later. Oh. But if you're trying to find brands to support you as an influencer, who are you sending that media kit to, that message to? Who do you reach out to?
Yeah, it just depends on the size of the company. If it's a huge, huge company, then you're probably not going to get to the CEO. Maybe won't even get to the CMO. Usually what we'll do is we'll either send it to the CMO, and we also send it to multiple people, right? So we'll do maybe the CEO, maybe the CMO. I mean, we don't get it. I mean, I get as many people as possible to be able to open that, right? I mean, if I'm an influencer, but you can also, there's also like sometimes they have PR people. Sometimes they have somebody actually part of their influencer marketing. So all I would do is I go look at ABC company. I go into LinkedIn. I go see how many employees they have. They've got 12 employees. Great. Now I can go find out who is the CMO. I can go do that. If they have 500, then there's probably have some kind of an influencer manager or a campaign manager, something like that. And I'll pitch them all. I'll send it to all of them because why not? Let's just see who, because what's going to happen is they go to a meeting, they go, God, I had this one guy that talked about this, and he goes, hey, you sent a message to me too. Well, you sent a message to me too. And it's like, well, what do you guys think? Now we started the conversation. Like it's really cheap to send a message on LinkedIn. It's like, oh, it's free. It's free. Well, I mean, unless you don't know the people. So then I'll add them first. And so, I'm cheap. And then I'll go and send them a message.
That makes sense. Interesting. Yeah. So now the other directions, what I have a question of, because we did at one point reach out to, like, a lot of people in the Instagram account have a PR link, their email that, reach out to. And 90% of the time I don't even think any of the times we got responded to. So what's the best route that way? Or is it there was no pitch really at that point. It was just, would you be interested in, further conversation or whatever? And then backing it up, or would you just be better off using a software program, both ends of things? You're talking about sending the messages on LinkedIn and that kind of thing, but if you really want to be an influencer, when signing up for one of those softwares make sense too, programs? I don't know.
Yeah, it could. So the thing is usually if people aren't responding, it has to do with your pitch. Right. And so it's not with everybody because every influencer is different. It also depends on the type of influencer that you're going after. Right. So if you're going after these big mega influencers that have, the thing is this, if you're offering free product and I am the middle person, I'm a PR company or I'm their manager, you know how much money I make off of a free product?
Yeah. Well, no, that wasn't the case. Yeah. No, we never, it would have been a paid deal, but we never got on it. Never.
Well, it just depends. And once again, and sometimes, I guess the thing is on the emails, when I send an email out, what we do is it's a very customized email. Like we'll have a template, but we can say, hey, Jennifer, I see that you're the manager for XYZ person. Here we are as we're a jewelry company. We see that Jennifer's obviously, lives that lifestyle, very luxurious. She'd be a perfect ambassador for us. What we're looking to do is potentially offer $2,500 a month. She would get a free ring. She would get this. These are some of the things the campaigns that we've done in the past. And with that, we would just want to know what you think your client would be willing to do. We're looking for a deeper type partnership. This would be a 6-month deal, right? So now with me as a manager, I'm looking at this going, okay, they're offering some money. There's going to be some free product. It's a long-term deal. And also it's a company that I would want to put underneath on my thing of saying, these are companies that I've worked with, right? Because then I can say I've worked with this jewelry company, I've worked with this. So it doesn't always have to be $10,000, but it can be, okay, is this going to be good for my overall, like my brand, right? To be able to bring it to that next level. And some managers get that and some don't, right? Some of them are like, no, we won't do anything less than $10,000. And they hire these people as gatekeepers for a reason. And so sometimes they miss out on opportunities. But the cool part about it is there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of influencers. So that's what they say. They say you send it to 10 influencers and it's like, oh, it just doesn't work. Well, you can't send it to all the influencers, but you can definitely, figure out, you'll find out somebody that does respond. And then I test different emails too, like different ways. Some of them are short, some of them are longer. Everybody's different, and see what's getting the most reaction and what kind of person we're getting reaction to. Then we have to find out of those 10 influencers, those 10 campaigns, who moves the needle, who brings the ROI in. And then I can take the money from them and move it into this person and go find people that have an audience similar to those that produce the same type of content. And now you have that funnel, right? But it takes time. It's not just hire one influencer and then just it's going to happen. The idea is just no different PPC. You have to do different, you do A/B testing, you try this, you try different messaging, and then you get one that works. And what do? You flood the thing with money and you make cash. Like it's the same thing with influencer marketing.
Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Well, awesome. Well, let's wrap this up. I want to go through what you offer. You mentioned a few things, where it's best to find you, and just your product offerings.
Okay. So if you're trying to find me, I'm usually at a local pub, and that's on Fridays and Saturdays, usually between 9 and 11. I go home a little early. I do Lyft and Uber, so that's cool. Mainly in Sacramento. Yeah, if you want to send me a free shirt, I'll send my address to you. You know, 'cause I love free shirts and leggings. That's a whole week side gig, side hustle that we shouldn't even talk about because this is being recorded. No, I am. You can reach me at it. So my website is shanebarker.com. That's ShaneBarker.com. You can go there, sign up for my newsletter. I've got all kinds of information about influencer marketing. I mean, all kinds of different stuff. We do SEO, we do content marketing. I mean, I write for 120 different websites, Inc., Forbes, all this fun stuff, do PR stuff. And then on the other side, if you want to reach me as an individual personally through email, it's just Shane@ShaneBarker.com. Real easy. You guys can send me an email, have any questions. And then I can, if people want to know about if you're a brand and want to, go through either the workshop where I come to you, we do a full day workshop, or there's also the 3-month where we talk once a week and I give them homework and kind of, educate them after the 3 months. They should be influencer marketing ninjas. And then influencers on the other side, if you're looking for my course, it'll be out here in the next few months. We're finalizing the curriculum here and we're going to be doing some videos and having some fun.
Awesome. Lots going on. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Any final words, Terry Barker?
No, you know what? I love the energy of this episode. I love the knowledge he shared. He does talk fast, so you may want to slow this down. Maybe play it at 0.75, right?
Or maybe 0.5, but I get your point.
So, no, man, it was good. Lots of good intel for sure. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, the funny part about talking fast is I do keynote speeches and then I get a little nervous, so I talk even faster. And the people in the front are like, I'm like, oh, never mind. I don't know if I speak too fast or they listen too slow. That's what we really have to figure out.
I'm a fast talker too, so that's what, it shows your enthusiasm and your excitement, and I think it's all good. So
I just got a lot to get out.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get it all out, and it's like lots of info, lots of in our world. It's just that whole technology world, lots of info. So thank you, Shane. Once again, you can find him at shanebarker.com. Pretty easy. Barker like the dog. Had to throw that one in. Sorry.
Like high school or elementary school all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Hasn't heard that one. That was totally new.
Exactly. And then our show, you can find all past podcasts on businessgrowthtime.com/podcasts. And then we also have a Facebook group, businessgrowthtime.xyz, takes you right to the Facebook group. So thanks again, Shane. I loved it. Lots of info, and I think this is fabulous.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me. Yeah, you guys too. Take care. Bye.